The punch bowl shattered against the tile floor of the school gymnasium like my heart cracking open for the umpteenth time that night. Red liquid pooling around my polished loafers as whispers turned to stares. "Dad, you can't come. It's embarrassing." Emily had sobbed into the phone 2 weeks ago. Her voice a knife twist I couldn't unhear. The kind that echoes in the quiet hours when regret is your only company. In that frozen moment, with confetti still drifting from the rafters like false promises, I realized love isn't a straight line. It's a goddamn detour through hell, and mine had just veered straight into the spotlight of her senior prom. I stood there, tie askew, the rented tux feeling like a clown's suit under the disco ball's merciless spin. Emily was across the room, her lavender gown swirling as she danced with Jake, that all-American quarterback with the easy grin and zero baggage. She hadn't seen me yet, or maybe she had and was pretending not to, her laughter a shield against the truth we'd both been dodging since she was old enough to Google, "What does gay mean?" It was supposed to be her night, the culmination of late-night study sessions and cafeteria dreams. But here I was, the uninvited ghost at the feast, crashing it because showing up broken is better than staying home whole. The DJ's voice boomed over the speakers. Next up, a slow one for the lovers, and the crowd paired off like magnets, leaving me adrift in a sea of awkward sympathy. That's when Principal Hargrove clapped a hand on my shoulder, his mustache twitching like it had a life of its own. "Mark, you okay? Heard about the situation. Kids. Huh? They come around." His words were kind, but they landed like pity punches. I nodded, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes, and that's when I spotted her. Emily, finally locking gazes with me across the divide. Her face crumpled, not in anger, but something worse. Shame, raw and unfiltered. The kind that binds you tighter than any hug. I'd always known this day might come, ever since the divorce papers hit the kitchen table 12 years back, ink still wet from the judge's pen. Sarah, my ex, had packed her bags with a quiet fury, muttering about finding herself in the arms of some yoga instructor upstate. But it wasn't the straight life she fled. It was me, finally honest after years of pretending. Coming out at 38 with a 10-year-old daughter clutching my pant leg felt like ripping off a skin I'd worn too long. Emily was my anchor then, her tiny hand in mine as we walked the leafy streets of Maplewood, New Jersey. A suburb so picture-perfect it could star in its own Hallmark movie, if Hallmarks did queer plot twists. We rebuilt just the two of us. I'd sling pancakes on Saturday mornings, flipping them high enough to make her giggle, while belting out show tunes from my Broadway phase. Yeah, I was that dad, the one who cried at La La Land and kept a rainbow flag tucked in the garage for pride floats. Work kept me grounded. Teaching history at the local community college, droning on about the Stonewall riots to wide-eyed freshmen who nodded like they got it, but really, they were just chasing credits. Emily thrived, acing AP classes, captaining the debate team, her future a straight-A beacon to Ivy League dreams. But beneath the surface, cracks formed. Whispers in the hallways about Mr. Ellis's dad. The sidelong glances when I'd pick her up in my vintage Mustang, top down, rent blasting from the speakers. Started small. At 13, she asked, "Dad, why don't you date like Mom does?" Her brown eyes, Sarah's eyes, searching mine for answers I couldn't sugarcoat. I told her the truth. Love doesn't come with a rulebook, and mine pointed toward guys, not gals. She hugged me then, fierce and forgiving, whispering, "You're still my superhero, but superheroes don't stay invincible." By freshman year, the bullying crept in, not direct but insidious. Notes in her locker, "Fag dad alert, sleepovers canceled last minute." And me? I armored up, attending every PDA meeting with a smile sharper than my wit, quoting Whitman to remind them poetry outlives prejudice. But Emily? She internalized it, building walls higher than the ones I'd scaled for her. We'd argue in the dim light of our craftsman bungalow, the one with the creaky porch swing where I'd proposed to Sarah under fireflies. "It's not fair, Dad." Everyone stares. Jake's mom asked if you're safe around the kids. Her words stung like salt in fresh wounds, but I swallowed them, chalking it up to teenage turbulence. Therapy helped. Dr. Lena, with her no-nonsense Bob and endless coffee refills, urging us to name the fear. We named it homophobia, hers borrowed from a town that waved rainbow flags at Pride but clutched pearls at potlucks. 2 weeks before prom, it boiled over. I'd planned the whole thing. Corsage from the florist on Main Street, a limo share with her bestie Mia, even a playlist of her guilty pleasure pop anthems. But she cornered me in the kitchen, flour dusted from baking her stress cookies, and unloaded. "You can't come, Dad. Please. It's my night. No offense, but you're you. And Jake's family, they're traditional. What if they see us together and think?" She trailed off, tears carving tracks through her mascara. But the damage was done. Betrayal hit like a freight train. Not hers, exactly, but the world's, echoing through her plea. I nodded, throat tight, and said, "I get it, kiddo. I'll bow out." But lying in bed that night, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars we'd stuck up when she was 5, I knew I couldn't. Not really. So here I was at the dance, heart hammering like a war drum. The gymnasium smelled of cheap cologne and teenage sweat. Banners screaming Maplewood Memories 25 in glittery script. I'd slipped in through the side door, badge pinned like a scarlet letter, hoping for a glimpse, a stolen moment of pride in her glow. But as the slow song crooned Perfect by Ed Sheeran, Emily pulled away from Jake, weaving through the crowd toward me. "Dad?" she hissed, grabbing my arm, her nails digging in like anchors. "What are you doing here?" "I told you." Her voice cracked, eyes darting to the chaperones, to Jake's glowering parents by the snack table. "I know, Em, but I had to see you shine." My words hung heavy, laced with the ache of every unsaid, "I love you." She deflated, shoulders slumping under the weight of her gown. And for a heartbeat, I thought we'd bridge it. Father and daughter unbreakable. Then Jake sauntered over, arms slung possessively around her waist, his Letterman jacket screaming privilege. "Mr. Ellis? This is a closed event." His tone was polite poison, eyes flicking to my tie pin, a subtle rainbow enamel I'd forgotten to ditch. Emily froze, torn between us, her face a battlefield. That's when the doors burst open again. Not with a bang, but a wave, my wave. Aunt Clara, Sarah's sister, barreled in first, her silver hair swept into a chignon, wielding a bouquet like a scepter. Behind her, my brother Tom, ever the stoic firefighter from Philly, in a suit that strained against his broad frame, and his husband, Ravi, beaming with that infectious grin. Then Sarah herself, elegant in emerald silk, no yoga glow but real, raw remorse in her eyes. And trailing them, a dozen neighbors, PTA allies I'd rallied in secret texts over the past week. Miss Patel from the bookstore, Coach Ramirez with his whistle still dangling, even old Mr. Kowalski, who grumbled but showed because kids need examples. They flooded the floor, a rainbow riot in tuxes and gowns, chanting Emily's name softly at first, then louder, until the DJ killed the music. Clara thrust the bouquet at me. "For the dad who taught us all to dance." And Tom clapped Jake on the back. A little too hard. "Son, family's family. Get used to it." Sarah reached for Emily, pulling her into a hug that swallowed us both. "We couldn't let you face this alone, baby. Not anymore." Emily's sob broke free, muffled against my chest as the crowd encircled us. Not staring now, but witnessing. Jake shifted, uncomfortable, but Mia tugged him aside, whispering fierce nothings. In that chaos, I caught Ravi's eye, his nod a silent "you did good." And for the first time, the gymnasium felt less like a cage and more like a hearth. But this was just the spark. The real fire, the one that would test if love could cauterize old wounds, was only beginning to lick at the edges of our fragile peace. The afterglow of that gymnasium miracle faded faster than the fog from a morning jog, leaving Emily and me navigating the minefield of Monday morning with tentative steps. She rode shotgun in the Mustang, windows cracked to let in the crisp New Jersey autumn, leaves swirling like confetti from a party we weren't sure had ended. "Dad, about last night." "I'm sorry," she murmured, fiddling with the hem of her debate club pin. Her apology was a band-aid on a bullet wound, but I'd take it. "Water under the bridge, Em. Just promise me, no more secrets." She nodded, but her eyes held shadows, the kind that whisper doubts in the dead of night. School that week was a pressure cooker. Whispers turned to outright buzz. Did you see the gay dad invasion? Epic. Kids high-fived in the halls, but not all cheers were kind. Jake, it turned out, had a mouth like a storm drain. Overheard in the locker room, griping to his buddies about that freak show ruining prom. It slithered back to Emily via Mia, who texted it with a string of crying emojis. By Wednesday, Emily was ghosting Jake's calls, her phone a silent sentinel on the dinner table. We ate meatloaf in quiet solidarity, the kind where forks scrape louder than words, but I could see the fracture lines deepening. I'd always prided myself on being the steady one, the dad who fixed flat tires and broken hearts with equal parts duct tape and dad jokes. But that night, as rain pattered against the kitchen window like impatient fingers, Emily shattered the silence. What if he's right, Dad? What if you're too much? Her voice was small, laced with the poison of playground politics. Too much. The words echoed Sarah's parting shot from the divorce. Mark, you're too flamboyant for this life. Flamboyant. I'd reclaimed it like a badge, strutting into faculty mixers with stories of my Greenwich Village days, pre-marriage, when I danced till dawn in clubs pulsing with house beats and possibility. Flashback to '05, me 25 and invincible, crashing a rooftop party in the village with a guy named Theo. Tall, tattooed, with eyes like smoked whiskey. We kissed under the Manhattan skyline, fireflies of taxi lights below, and for the first time, I felt seen, not settled for. But Sarah came next, a whirlwind of stability. Law school sweethearts, her ambition matching my wanderlust. We built a life on compromises. Me toning down the scarves, her ignoring the late-night scrolls through Grindr. Emily arrived like a revelation, all chubby cheeks and curious fists, and I dove into fatherhood headfirst, burying the rest. Now, with Emily's question hanging, I set down my fork. Too much for who? Kid? For Jake's narrow world? Or for yours? She flinched, but I pressed on, voice steady as the oak table we'd scarred with crayon wars. Love isn't a volume knob you turn down to fit the room. It's the song. You crank it or you miss the melody. Tears welled, but she didn't run. Instead, she leaned in and we talked, really talked, for the first time since the dance. About the notes, the stares, the fear that being my daughter meant wearing my rainbow like a target. By Friday, the storm hit full force. I got the call during my civil rights lecture, mid-slide on Loving versus Virginia. Principal Hargrove's voice crackled through. Mark, we need you down here. Emily's in my office. Some altercation. My heart jackknifed. I floored it across town, the Mustang's engine roaring like my pulse. Arriving to find her slumped in a vinyl chair, knuckles bruised, eyes red-rimmed. Jake stood opposite, lips split, flanked by his parents like mismatched bookends. Mom in pearls, Dad in a polo screaming country club. It was nothing, Emily muttered, but the air hummed with lies. Hargrove cleared his throat, mustache quivering. Seems there was a shoving match in the parking lot. Words were exchanged. About orientation. Jake's dad puffed up, veins bulging. Your kid started it, Ellis, spreading rumors about my boy, calling him a bigot. After that circus you pulled at prom. I stepped forward, hand on Emily's shoulder, feeling her tremble. Rumors? Like the one your son spread about me being a freak? The room iced over. Jake's mom gasped, clutching her purse like a shield. But Emily straightened, fire in her eyes. He called Dad a predator, in front of everyone. I defended him. Pride swelled, hot and fierce, but so did the dread. This was betrayal's ugly cousin, the kind that escalates from whispers to fists. We hashed it out in Hargrove's stuffy office, mediators all, but the damage festered. Jake's parents lawyered up, threatening complaints. Emily got a week's suspension for aggression. Driving home, thunder rumbling like an omen, she broke. I did it for you, Dad, but now everyone's looking at me like I'm broken. I pulled over on a side street lined with glowing jack-o'-lanterns, early Halloween prep, and pulled her into a hug across the console. You're not broken, Em. You're brave. And bravery? It leaves bruises, but it builds empires. That night, Sarah showed up unannounced, rain-slicked and somber, takeout tie in hand like a peace offering. We sat on the porch swing, Emily between us, the creak a metronome to our halting confessions. I should have fought harder, Sarah admitted, her hand brushing mine. Not romantic, but reconciliatory. When you came out, I bailed because it scared me. Change always does. Emily listened, wide-eyed, as we unpacked the divorce like an old suitcase. My hidden affairs of the heart, her emotional affairs with routine. It wasn't absolution, but it was air fresh if chilly. As the rain eased to mist, my phone buzzed. A text from Ravi. Heard about the drama. Dinner tomorrow? Tom's grilling, and I've got stories that'll make you laugh. I smiled, typing back yes. Tom and Ravi. My chosen family since Philly Pride 15. When Tom's proposal under the Liberty Bell made me ugly cry into my rainbow cake. They'd been my sounding board through the divorce. Ravi's hugs the kind that reset your soul. Saturday dawned golden. Leaves carpeting the driveway like nature's welcome mat. Emily begged off dinner, homework calls. But I went anyway, needing the balm of their banter. Tom's backyard was a slice of heaven. Smoker billowing hickory, string lights twinkling premature against the dusk. Ravi pulled me into a bear hug, his chef's apron dusted with paprika. Spill, Uncle Mark. What's got that sparkle dimmed? Over ribs that fell off the bone, I unloaded the dance, the fight, Emily's war with herself. Tom nodded, wiping sauce from his chin. Sounds like my coming out, brother. Dad disowned me for a month. Thought I'd burn in hell or some nonsense. But Mom? She showed up at the station with pie, said, Love's not a choice, Tommy. It's a calling. Ravi squeezed my knee under the picnic table, his touch platonic but profound. A reminder that romance isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's the steady burn of solidarity. We laughed till our sides ached, toasting with craft IPAs to Family Surprises, Part 2. But as I drove home, stars pricking the velvet sky, doubt crept back. Emily's light was flickering, and I wondered if my love, loud, unapologetic, was the wind fanning it out or the spark keeping it alive. Little did I know the real gale was brewing, one that would force us all to choose. Bend or break. The week blurred into a haze of parent-teacher emails and Emily's forced smiles. Her suspension a scarlet letter in the form of missed calculus notes. I'd shuttle her to the library for makeup work, our rides filled with NPR podcasts on queer icons, Harvey Milk's Defiance, Audre Lorde's poetry, to remind her histories on our side. But at home, the bungalow felt smaller, walls pressing in with unspoken accusations. Was I the villain here, dragging her through my truth? Or was silence the real monster, the one devouring us from within? Thanksgiving loomed like a family reunion grenade, Sarah's olive branch extending to a full Ellis clan gathering at her upstate cabin. A neutral ground of pine-scented air and forced cheer. Emily begged to skip, citing turkey trots and drama. But I insisted. We're in this together, Em. All of us. She relented, packing her duffel with the reluctance of a soldier to the front. The drive north was a therapy session on wheels. Winding roads through the Catskills, fog curling like ghosts around the Hudson. Emily plugged in her playlist. Indie folk with lyrics about mending fences, and we sang off-key, her voice cracking on the choruses. By the time we pulled up to the A-frame, smoke puffing from the stone chimney like a beckoning finger, tension had thawed to tentative warmth. Sarah greeted us at the door, flower on her apron, a genuine smile cracking her polished facade. You made it. Pot pie's almost ready. Your favorite, Mark. Inside, the cabin hummed with life. Clara bossing the kitchen like a general, Tom wrestling logs for the fire, Ravi orchestrating charcuterie with the precision of a surgeon. Cousins milled about, little ones chasing a golden retriever named Scout, aunts gossiping over mulled wine. Emily dove into the fray, her laughter real for the first time in weeks, but I caught the glances. Sarah's lingering on me, curious, almost kind. Tom's nod of solidarity across the room. Dinner was a masterpiece. Turkey carved with ceremony, cranberry relish tart as truth. We went round the table with gratitudes. Emily for second chances, Sarah for new beginnings, me for the family that fights for you. But under the clink of silverware, currents swirled. Later, as pie steamed on plates, Jake's name surfaced. Innocent at first, Emily mentioning a group project. Then Sarah leaned in, voice low. Heard from Mia his folks pulled him from the team. Some backlash from the fight. Emily's fork paused, guilt flickering. Good for them. He deserved it. Not everyone agreed. Uncle Ray, Sarah's brother, the holdout conservative with a beer gut and Bible quotes, cleared his throat. Deserved? Kid's just a boy. Your dad's. Lifestyle's the real issue. Stirring pots. The table froze, pie forgotten. Clara shot him a glare that could curdle milk. Lifestyle? Ray? It's 2025. Love's not a sin, bigotry is. Tom jumped in, voice gravelly. Back off, Ray. We've all got our paths. Marx walked his with grace. But the seed was planted, doubt sprouting in Emily's averted eyes. I excused myself to the porch, the November chill biting through my sweater. Stars an indifferent audience overhead. Footsteps crunched. Sarah. 2 mugs of cider steaming. He's an ass, but family, she said, handing me one. We leaned on the railing, the silence companionable for the first time in years. You know, I envied you back then. The courage to be you. I played it safe, and look where it got me. Lonely in a law firm. Her confession hung, vulnerable, and I touched her arm. We're both still figuring it out, Sarah. For her. Inside, the fire crackled on. But the warmth didn't reach us all. That night, bunked in the loft with Emily, she whispered confessions into the dark. Uncle Ray's words. They make me wonder if I'm wrong for fighting back. Like maybe I should just blend in. My heart ached. A vice tightening. Blending in's a slow death, kiddo. Shine your light. It's what makes you you. She curled against me, small again, and sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with prom lights and fractured faces. Black Friday dawned crisp, the family scattering to trails for a gratitude hike. Emily paired with Mia via FaceTime, but I lagged behind with Ravi, our breaths puffing in the pine-scented air. You're carrying the world, Mark, he said, linking arms. Remember Theo? That spark? Find it again. Not for her, for you. Theo. The name conjured ghosts. His laugh, our last fight over my cold feet before Sarah. Romance had been a casualty of fatherhood. Dates fizzling into coffee regrets. But Ravi's words planted a seed. Tiny but insistent. Back at the cabin, the real fracture erupted over pie leftovers. Ray cornered Emily in the kitchen, his voice booming through the wall. Girl, listen. Your dad's leading you astray. Real men don't prance. I burst in, fury hot as the stove. Enough, Ray. You're not her father or mine. Emily stood frozen, tears streaming, as Sarah hauled Ray out by the elbow, apologies tumbling. But the damage? Irreparable. Emily fled to the loft, slamming the door like a guillotine. We left early, the drive south a funeral procession. Emily stared out the window, silent as stone. He's family, Dad, but he's wrong. And I hate that it hurts. I gripped the wheel, knuckles white. Family's not blood, it's choice. We choose better. December crept in with snow flurries and holiday lights, Maplewood transforming into a Norman Rockwell fever dream. Emily threw herself into college apps, essays laced with tentative pride. My father's journey taught me resilience. I beamed, but the undercurrent pulled. Jake's family sued for defamation. A petty claim Hargrove mediated into community service. Emily raked leaves at the rec center. Jake painted murals, their glares across the yard like dueling pistols. Amid the tinsel, romance flickered unexpectedly. At the college's winter faculty mixer, a drab affair in the student union, I bumped into Lucas, the new lit prof from Seattle. Tall, with wire-rimmed glasses and a lopsided smile, he quoted Ginsberg over eggnog. What if our lives are just rough drafts? We talked till closing, his hand brushing mine accidental on purpose. By New Year's, coffee dates bloomed into walks in Branch Brook Park, cherry blossoms dormant but promising. Lucas was steady. Divorced dad himself with a son in art school. His kisses soft under street lamps, tasting of peppermint and possibility. Emily noticed, her eyes narrowing over breakfast burritos. He's nice, Dad, but don't get hurt again. Her protectiveness warmed me, but so did the fear. Was I ready to rewrite my story, or just scribbling margins? Then, the betrayal struck like lightning. Emily's essay, submitted early to Princeton, leaked online by Anonymous. Ray's doing, we suspected. The words twisted. My gay dad ruined my prom. Headlines blared in local rags. Teen outs family drama. The world crashed in. Reporters on the lawn. Emily's phone exploding with hate. She locked herself in her room, sobs echoing like accusations. I held Lucas at bay, the cabin fever of our home a pressure cooker ready to blow. In that storm, Sarah called voice steel. We're fixing this. Together. The family surprise redux was brewing, not with banners, but with battle lines drawn. But could love weather the war? The leak hit like a nor'easter, winds howling through our lives, uprooting the fragile normalcy we'd patched together. By dawn, the bungalow was besieged. News vans idling on the curb, their satellite dishes like mechanical vultures. Emily hadn't emerged from her room, the door barricaded with silence heavier than any lock. I brewed coffee on autopilot, hands shaking as I scrolled the comments. File spew from trolls, fairy tale gone wrong, kids better off without him. Lucas texted support. Here if you need. Doors open. But I couldn't lean. Not yet. This was my tempest to tame. Sarah arrived first, tires crunching gravel. Her Prius a white knight in sensible hybrid armor. She bypassed the reporters with a lawyer's glare, shouldering past with a thermos of sanity. Bylines are bullshit, Mark. We'll sue if we have to. Upstairs, she coaxed Emily out with promises of hot cocoa and girl talk, their murmurs filtering down like a lifeline. Me? I paced the living room, phone glued to Ravi. Raise the leak. Track him. Tom's reply was fire. On it. Bro, Philly PD owes me favors. The day devolved into damage control. Hargrove called a rare Saturday summons. His office a bunker of filing cabinets and regret. Essays pulled from admissions. Princeton's sympathetic. But Emily's face when we arrived was ash. They think I'm a liar now. Or worse, a victim. Jake slunk in too, dragged by his folks, his apology mumbled. Didn't mean for this. Lies. His eyes darted, guilty as a fox in the henhouse. I bit my tongue, but Sarah didn't. Own it, son, or lose her for good. Emily met his gaze, voice steady. We're done, Jake. Find your own truth. Outside, snow fell fat and forgiving, blanketing the parking lot in hush. Tom and Ravi pulled up in their SUV, exhaust blooming like dragon breath. Ray's lawyered up, Tom growled, hugging me fierce. But Clara's got dirt, old emails, bigoted rants. We're going public. Ravi handed Emily a care package. Sketchbooks from his gallery gig. For when words fail. She cracked a smile, first in days, and sketched by the window that night. Swirling abstracts of storms yielding to sun. Betrayal's aftershocks rippled wide. Uncle Ray's call came at midnight, slurred with scotch. Just protecting the family, Mark. Your choices are poison. I hung up, chest heaving, then called Dr. Lena for an emergency sesh. Her office, with its fern jungle and sand tray, was sanctuary. Emily built castles in the grains, crumbling them with glee. It hurts, document, like Dad's love is a curse. Lena nodded, sage as ever. Or a gift, wrapped rough. Unpack it slow. We left lighter, but the wound wept. Romance, in the chaos, became my quiet rebellion. Lucas invited me to his loft, a converted mill in Patterson, walls lined with first editions and fairy lights. We cooked pasta Alfredo, his laughter booming as I botched the roux. You're a disaster, Ellis. My kind of disaster. Over Chianti, confessions flowed. His ex's abandonment, our shared single-dad scars. His kiss, later, by the bookshelf. Hal's spine digging into my back, was fire, not flash. Tender, exploratory, like mapping a familiar shore after years adrift. Stay, he whispered, but I demurred. Soon, when the storm breaks. It broke, spectacularly, mid-December. Princeton rescinded the leak's shadow, fast-tracking Emily's app with a personal note. Your voice matters, raw and real. The local news pivoted. Family rallies against bigot leak. featuring Clara's takedown of Ray on live TV. He slunk back to Florida, disinvited from holidays, his absence a victory scar. Emily's sketches turned vibrant, portraits of us, intertwined under rainbows. Christmas Eve, the family converged on the bungalow. Sarah stringing lights, Tom hauling the tree, Ravi baking gingerbread queers with icing flags. Emily directed, her prom gown repurposed as a tree skirt. Laughing a scout gnawed the tinsel. Gifts unwrapped in a flurry. For me, a leather journal from Lucas. For your stories. His presence a surprise, folding into hugs like he'd always belonged. But the climax crested New Year's at the Rec Center's Unity Bash. A community dance born from the prom fallout, rainbow banners waving like truce flags. Emily pulled me aside pre-party, eyes shining. Dad, I get it now. Your surprise at prom? It was mine too. I was scared of losing Jake, of standing out. But you showed me. Standing tall is the only way. Her hug crushed, fierce as freshman year. The gym pulsed anew, but transformed. Queer youth group booths, ally workshops, a DJ spinning Born This Way into Dancing Queen. Jake lurked by the punch, solo now, his nod to Emily tentative peace. Lucas arrived, hand in mine, our entrance a statement sans spotlight. We danced. Father-daughter first, to stand by me, her head on my shoulder, whispers of I love you, sinking with the bass. Then, the betrayal's ghost materialized. Ray, uninvited, staggering through the doors, bottle in hand, bellowing slurs. Freak show, ruining good Christian kids. Chaos erupted, gasps, shoves, but Tom intercepted, pinning him gentle but firm. Out, Ray. Love wins. Cops arrived, quiet escort, but not before Emily stepped forward, voice amplified by the mic Tom snatched from the DJ. Uncle Ray, you're wrong. Family isn't who hurts you, it's who heals. And mine? They're all in. The crowd erupted, cheers drowning his retreat. Sarah flanked her, Clara hooped, Ravi filmed for posterity. Lucas squeezed my hand. Your girl's a force. In that roar, tears came, mine, Emily's. A collective catharsis washing clean the year's grime. As midnight tolled, confetti rained anew. We linked arms in a circle, toasting to surprises yet to come. The dance floor became our hearth, bodies swaying in solidarity. The air electric with unspoken vows. Yet, in the quiet after, driving home with Emily dozing shotgun, snowflakes kissing the windshield, I pondered the cost. Betrayal's blade cuts deep, but forgiveness forges stronger steel. Our story wasn't over. College loomed, loves to nurture, but the arc bent toward light, humanistic in its hard-won grace. Spring unfurled in Maplewood like a long-held breath released, dogwoods blooming defiant against the last chill, their petals a soft pink promise. Emily's Princeton acceptance arrived on cherry-scented stationery, confetti bursting from the envelope like delayed prom magic. She squealed, tackling me on the kitchen floor, our laughter echoing off the cabinets scarred by a decade of spills and secrets. We did it, Dad. All of us. I held her tight, inhaling the vanilla of her shampoo, whispering, You did, kiddo. Shine on. The months post-bash blurred into healing rituals. Weekly dinners with Sarah and the crew, where stories swapped like trading cards. Tom's firehouse heroics, Ravi's gallery openings, Clara's latest courtroom conquests. Ray faded to holiday cards and signed, his silence a grudging surrender. Jake? He transferred schools, a ghost story Emily recounted with shrugging indifference. His loss. Found my crew. Mia became her anchor, their late-night vents evolving into something sweeter. First crushes confessed over iced lattes. Emily's bisexuality a revelation wrapped in rainbows of her own. My romance with Lucas deepened, roots tangling slow and sure. Weekends at his loft turned routine. Lazy brunches with his son, Alex, a lanky artist with paint-flecked jeans and zero judgment. Dad's happier with you, Alex said one afternoon, sketching us on the fire escape. Me reading Giovanni's room, Lucas humming jazz. We talked futures. Co-parenting Emily's visits, maybe a place with room for her college breaks. No rush, no rings. Just the romance of possibility. kisses lingering like afterglow. Emily's graduation was the crescendo we'd earned. The high school auditorium, swathed in blue and gold, thrummed with proud sobs and camera flashes. She strode the stage, cap tassel swaying, her speech a mic drop manifesto. Family isn't given. It's grown, watered with tears and tended with truth. To my dad, who taught me to dance through the dark. Thank you for the rhythm. The crowd rose, but my applause drowned them. Fists pumping, tears unchecked. Sarah gripped my hand, her squeeze a bridge long burned but rebuilding. Post-ceremony, the backyard bash at our place was pure Americana whimsy. Picnic tables groaning under pulled pork and potato salad. A bounce house for the littles, string lights twinkling as dusk dipped. Neighbors mingled with exes. Allies toasting adversaries turned acquaintances. Lucas barbecued with Tom. Their banter a bro-fest of marinades and memoirs. Emily pulled me aside by the porch swing, now repainted sky blue. College is scary, Dad. What if I mess up? Her vulnerability, once armored, now open like a bookmarked page. I cupped her face, echoes of that 13-year-old gaze. Messing up's part of the plot, Em. But you've got a killer editor. Us. We swung gentle, the creak a lullaby, as fireflies ignited the yard like living stars. Summer waned with Emily's orientation trip, her duffel packed with sketches and sass. Dropping her at the train station. Lucas beside me, hand warm in mine, was a gut punch of pride and pang. Call every day, she teased, hugging fierce. Love you, superhero. The platform blurred as the train chugged north, but so did the ache, replaced by the thrill of her launch. Back home, the bungalow hummed quieter, but fuller. Lucas moved in bits at a time. Bookshelves crowding corners, his coffee mug claiming cabinet space. We hosted game nights, Ravi trouncing us at charades with dramatic flair. Sarah dated, a barista with tattoos and tenderness, her updates over wine a new normal. One evening, as cicadas chorused outside, Lucas and I walked the block, fingers laced casual as breathing. This, us, them. It's the surprise I never saw coming, he said, stopping under a street lamp's halo. I kissed him then, slow and sure, the world narrowing to his sigh. Best plot twist ever. Fall semester updates flooded in. Emily's emails effusive with dorm drama, poli-sci debates, a crush on a poet named Riley. She's got your fire, Dad. Minus the show tunes. Pride swelled eternal. Holidays cycled. Thanksgiving at the cabin. Ray's chair empty but echoed with toasts to absentees. Christmas with Alex home. His murals adorning our walls like family crests. Betrayal's scar faded to silver, a reminder etched in resilience. Emily's winter break brought stories. Campus pride floats, late-night philosophy rants. I get it now, the fight's not over, but it's worth it. We danced in the living room to her old playlist, Lucas twirling us both, laughter the glue. As snow blanketed Maplewood anew, Emily announced her major. Gender studies with a minor in history. To tell stories like yours, Dad. The circle closed, humanistic and whole. Love, not linear, but layered. A tapestry of conflicts conquered. Emotions endured, romances rekindled. In quiet moments, swinging on the porch with Lucas, Emily's voice on speaker sharing triumphs, I marveled. We'd weathered the storm, emerging not unscathed, but unbreakable. The family's surprise? It wasn't one night. It was every dawn after, light breaking through, illuminating the path we'd forged together. And in America's heartland sprawl, from Jersey suburbs to Ivy halls, that light spreads one story at a time.